All right, bear with me, bear with me. Give me a few moments to make sure the camera and everything's good. Okay, we don't need all that in there. Get some of that out of there. Like that. Bear with me, bear with me. Yes, that's a little better. Something to drink, and I'm ready. Okay. Con. Well, bear with me. All right. We'll start first by giving all praise and glories unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harachakodash, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Brakata Yahweh, Brakata Yahweh Shai, Kahalo Yullah, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Harachakodash. Our double honor to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone who teach, guide, and rule well. And greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you, hopeful elect out there, those listening and learning in these last days. And the title of this video, as you may have seen, is you shouldn't need a clock to know what time it is. Okay, and I've done a video like this, maybe I do kind of often, but with a similar title. It may be down, but it was years ago. All right, prophecy is going to tell us what time it is. Okay, and the beautiful thing, reading the prophecy itself gives you a gist of what the times will be, to know what time it is. Okay, it's getting close to this, it's getting close to that. But more so now that the current events are lining up with the prophecies. Okay, we see civil unrest, we see inflation where the money's on edge. Okay, we see uh, um, heightened tensions in the Middle East for world war in those top countries that we've been prophesying about in the Ezekiel the 38th chapter. All right, all of these things are happening in these last days, and if you're not paying attention closely, you can see that this devil's trying to execute a plan in NWO, New World Order. I'm going to do my best to keep it salty, keep some flavor on what I say in codes. Uh, Lord willing, it's edifying. All right. And so I want to start off with a second address. Yeah, I got second address here, which, because prophecy is what tells it all. Okay, prophecy is the power. Okay, of what's happening down here on the earth. It gives you the heads up, if you will. All right. Anybody that knows a situation where they a teacher coming, and, you in class and you a kid, you being bad, then all of a sudden the teacher coming, then you can straighten up. They walk in, they think you just, but in this time, this is a chance for you to get yourself together and get yourselves in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and wake up. I mean, matter of fact, let me start there. I didn't even have this, but we got to go to Romans, one of my favorite opening scriptures, Romans the 13th chapter. Okay, for some of you, you can follow along. I don't want to make this super long, not a marathon type lesson, but I got within about an hour before I got to make moves. So see if we can get it done in that time frame. Lord willing, like I said, it'll be edifying. So Romans the 13th chapter and the 11th verse says, and that knowing the time. Now, this will probably come around again at the end of this lesson. But so in that knowing the time, how do you know the time? Through the prophecies is what I was about to get in second Esdras, right? it says that now is high time to awake out of sleep. And I'm going to stop there and I'll come back to it. Okay, that now is high time to awake out of sleep. Now's the time that you got to get yourself together. Okay, now's the time you find out what the Heavenly Father approves of, because the Christians and these other religions out there, whether it's Islam, whether it's Buddhism or whatever, Hinduism, or believing in yourself or money or whatever belief system that you have, all those things are failing and going to continue to fail. Okay, this with the prophecy is what's going to prove true, prove real. It's the difference in the power of this truth by the real prophets of the Hebrew Israelites, okay, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and Israelite foreigners, versus everybody else that picks this book up or any other set of books with a standard that tries to teach you how to live your life. Well, the times are telling you how to live. The book tells you the type of conduct you should have, okay, that how to live like a godly person in these last days, especially knowing the climate, if you will, of what's going on out here. All right, so let me get Romans 13th chapter right quick. I'm back in Esdras. Go back to second Esdras right quick. So we're in second Esdras. Off my spot. We're gonna go to second Esdras, the 9th chapter. Perfect. It says in 1, it says, and he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, because now is high time to awake out of sleep. How do we know? We see the prophecies. So you got to measure the times. How do we do it? With the prophecies. We look at, matter of fact, I'll just keep jumping around. Forgive me, I'm going to be all over the place, back and forth. I'll try to stay on track. But this is how the Spirit will move, and you got to be able to move with it. All right, Matthew 24, just because it's a quick one. All right, and then I'm going to get more in depth in a second here. Verse 5. Matter of fact, that's pretty good. Verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. I should get the one in Luke. Bear with me. I had this one on the list, but let me grab the one in Luke, because it's going to say the same thing, actually, but in a different way, which will kind of keep it fresh. Luke 21 and 11. I might start up at 10. At 9, yeah, it says, and when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified. Okay, showing you that you know what time it is. Okay, it's like if you're in a sporting event and it's the fourth quarter, you should already know the urgency should be there. Okay, when you're moving, getting down to the last 2-minute warning, like in football or whatever, you should understand that the urgency. Okay, no huddle. We got to run a no huddle offense. Okay, we already know what these plays are. And that's what the prophecy will set up for you, that you can see it before and understand the conduct that comes in these times, so you can be ready. Okay, because the test is coming. Okay, and it's an open book test for now, but when the test comes, it's got to be written in you to where I've studied, so I'm already on it. I can actually share this information with someone else that may not be as sharp as me, and now they picked up on it. Now, oh yeah, I remember. And now they're clicking into it, okay? Anyway, it says, yep, I'm in verse 9. Be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. And that's the time we're in now. It's not the last moment of the missiles destroying America, where it's that Lake of Fire situation here. But we're building up to that. And it's not building slow anymore. We're literally an event or so away. An assassination of this guy, whatever, that's one something, but that built the climate, took it up another notch. It'll be another something that takes it up another notch. Then it'll be another something that takes it up a notch. And within the next few situations, and they seem small now, but they're mounting and building the pressure up. And eventually the pipe is going to burst. Okay? The minds of the people are going to lose it. Okay? And this is the reaction they want. They want chaos so they can bring order out of chaos, order out of chaos, okay, which is the Latin phrase that they use. It's on the dollar bill. Okay, they have to bring order out of a chaotic situation. Well, they have to bring the chaos so they can know how to respond to that chaos. Okay, it says, it says, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto me, nation shall rise against nation. We see that. Okay, in the Middle East, we see it in Russia. We see it over here in America. We see it in South America. We see it all over the world. And kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places. We should be able to look at the news. You can go right to latest earthquakes on Google, and boom, there's actually websites dedicated to let you know when the latest earthquakes were. You could even put latest earthquakes over the magnitude of 5 or something, 4.7 or whatever, and you can see that things are happening. Okay, there's never been this much happening at one time. So, oh, this has always been. No, it hasn't always been. Not to this magnitude. Okay. It continues to say, in diverse earthquakes in diverse places and famines. It doesn't look like there's a famine yet, but you look at how the inflation is happening on the grocery stores and on the gas and on the mortgages and rent. And you can easily see that them extra dollars that you would feed yourself or your family with have to now go to the gas tank, have to now go to the light bill, have to now go, to other places. All right. And then, I need to live in a nicer because crime is getting out of control. It's worth me living in a nicer neighborhood to pay a couple $100 extra. Well, that's food off your table. And why is their crime expanding? Because they're feeling it, and now they need to get over it. It ain't just because people are corrupt and they're bad. It's simply they have a need that needs to be that must be filled in their lives. And some of them are just riffraff. That's true. But some of them, people are turning to crime to make ends meet. Okay, when people have a living wage, you see the crime numbers truly go down. But that's not the chaos that they're trying to build up. They have to make Jake the brunt of the chaos, or of the force that's got to come against our people. Okay, so E and the rest of the nations can look at us and be like, they're the problem. Okay, and if we're the problem, then they have a reason to come down on us. But why? Why would they have that sentiment? Well, as asking the Hebrew Israelite through prophecy, is because they know we're the children of Israel. Why is it that Negroes and Latinos are always the butt of every situation? Why we have to be the bottom and the problem? We're the least to have anything to speak of. And I'm not talking about the few entertainers. I'm talking about as a whole. I'm always going to bring up this joke where I believe it was Chris Rock. He said in one of his comedy specials, I'm trying to remember which one, but in one of his comedy specials, he said, I live in a prestigious neighborhood. Chris Rock, the famous comedian, entertainer, writer, right? He said Jay-Z lives there, Mary J. Blige lives there. And you know who lives next door to me? A white dentist. He's just a dentist that lives next to them in that prestigious neighborhood. Okay? It's not the same. The average so-called white person can afford to live in a prestigious black neighborhood. It's not a prestigious black neighborhood, but a prestigious neighborhood next to the highest, some of the highest paid Jakes. All right? So that shows you it's a major disparage. Okay, but you won't see that average good paying Edomite living in a neighborhood that he hasn't, inherited from a family member. And if he does, you can see it's damn near a compound. Okay, these are things that you should be able to look at. You see homeless people on the at the stoplight, on the freeway exits and whatever else, panhandling and whatnot, right? That's a sign of what time we're living in. Okay? It can anyway, back in it says in famines and pestilences, there's always a new this, a new that. Okay, and this is the time when you see these pestilences and you see famines. Okay, now I see it's a famine. I need to start cutting out what I eat. I don't need all the extra stuff. It's not healthy for me anyway. All these extra good tasting processed foods. I just begin to trim my diet down to whole fruits, organic fruits, okay, and vegetables and simple meats that I cook myself. Okay, the apostles have been doing videos, brothers have been doing videos, all over YouTube and whatnot, going into health. Okay, and that is going to help keep you in these fasting and situations where we're not eating for 10 hours a day, 12, 15 hours a day. We're constantly putting something in our mouth, okay, to eat, giving our digestion system a break, all right? And with all of that, what happens? You don't get so hungry so quickly. Your mind isn't begging or craving food to feed your body. That's your flesh that's asking for that. And in turn, what happens? Your body begins to have an opportunity to fight off pestilences. Okay, different little situations, little viruses, little bacteria, it can now fight more. Okay, fasting, and there's a thing called autophagy. I've done a video on it or so that you can get into finding out what autophagy is. For you that know what autophagy is, it's talking about the state where your cells begin to repair themselves and get rid of bad cells and begin to replenish. That's I think it's maybe 18 hours to 30 hours, different stages of it hit, and then it hits a higher level, I think around 30 or so hours, so even the small one does a lot of good. All digestion leaves around 12 hours. It's a lot to it, man, but think of what your body's doing and what your body's repairing in those moments, and it's keeping you away from feeling the ills of missing meals, because there is a famine out there. I don't have the extra money to just eat all day. It's not healthy anyway. And that food, this processed food we have today, sugars and high fructose corn syrups and high sodium and tridiglycerides and all these other, I'm saying, all that that big list of ingredients that aren't natural. Those things break your immune system down and make you more susceptible to pestilences. Okay? So knowing the time, we have to be able to change our conduct, which I'll get 2 Peter at some point, okay, to where we change our conduct, that holy conversation, that holy conduct we have at anastrophe, okay, that we now have, that we move in a godly-like manner. Then people ask you, hey, how come everybody's sick in the house, or everybody is sick when you go to here and there and they got the mask or whatever on? How come you don't? What are you doing differently? What do you take? What do you drink? Okay? And it's important because these simple things seem so simple, but as you walk in it, and you see the walking talks the apostles are doing, and different videos brothers are doing about health and exercise and so on and so forth, because we know we may have to walk, 4 or 5 miles in a day to get out of the situation to the next brother's house. Driving in the car may take you 10, 15 minutes, but that's a 6 mile walk to get to that closest brother's house, where he may have food for you, where he may have a safe situation set up for you, where he's safe, but you got to make it there. Okay? So all of these situations, you have to measure these by the times that we're living in. And that's good on that. Matthew. Yeah, it might be one more. I'll read a little more. And pestilences and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven. Even all these signs in the heavens that we see. Okay, we see different moons and blood moons and eclipses. Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, these are all important signs of the end. All right, and brothers do videos on these all the time, particularly here at Great Millstone. So back in 2nd Esdras chapter 9, so this is how you measure the time. You look at all these things and you think about how I have to move when I see all of these prophecies and these situations coming to pass. Okay, it says, and when thou seest part of, is the middle of the first verse, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, prophesied through the scriptures unto us, right? Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world, visit the world which he made. And how is that? How is he going to visit the world? With his spirit, okay, and eventually with his only begotten son and the angels. Okay, and his spirit is being pushed out to certain men on the earth right now to prophesy these things unto you, to teach you how to walk in the earth, to be an example unto you. Okay, as well as to tell you themselves, hey, this is coming, watch out for this. Okay, and this is how you act and how you move in these times as well. All right, it says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, that word came back again, right? And uproars of the people, that commotions from Luke, the same prophecy being spoken by Yahushua in Luke, okay, and in Matthew, the 24th chapter, Ezra seen it. All right, it says, then shall thou well understand that the Most High, I read this, but I'll read it again. Then shall thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, and like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and have an end, and the end is manifest. The end of this is over. And here's something that you may never hear out of a Christian. What is this the end of? It's the end of this age, the end of this learning situation, the end of this learning period before we move into the kingdom of heaven, and before we have all those blessings that the Christian church love to read about. But they don't tell you about all the Jacob's trouble and all the issues that come leading up to it. Okay, oh, it's just a rapture. And they don't have any scriptural foundation to tell you about that. Well, that ain't how this works. Okay, you got to go through this fire to make it through, because there's a lot of men that are 10 toes down right now. People that got they armbands, and they got their headbands, and they got the they got the fringes on the outside of the t-shirt when they regular life. They got all this stuff ready. And I'm just using that as an example. No offense meant, but just saying there's a smarter way to have that fringe on the inside and be ready. But they're 10 toes down, and they go out every week and they prophesy and they teach and they do all the things right. And then all of a sudden, when the adversity hits, they fall away. It's too much. That's going to be a scenario that happens. Okay, Lord willing, it don't happen to me and none of you. That the Most High keep the spirit on us to stay all the way in, that we don't have that Judas role. Okay. Anyway, it continues to say, even so, the times of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and in powerful works and endings in effects and signs. And so we're able to see these effects and signs. And that's the clock we're looking at. And if you go to the doomsday clock, it's like seconds away from striking midnight. And analogetically, midnight means total destruction, which that's coming, particularly here to America after World War III. Because we've seen kingdom against kingdom and nation against nation rise up in these arguments, and Trump and Putin going back and forth, and Kim Jong-un saying this, Iran saying that, and the Palestinians saying this, and those in the land, in the Holy Land, are saying that. Okay, all these situations are just back and forth, and people choosing and picking sides. Then we're seeing the racial tension build up here. ISIS coming and just racially profiling Hispanics. And then we see the National Guard coming in and aiding with that. Then they're pointing the finger because you Negroes, Hispanics, and Natives, you don't care about Charlie Kirk, and even some of the regular citizens that may be white or another nation don't care to speak, freely their thoughts or their opinions about Charlie Kirk on the internet, as we call him, Captain Kirk or CPK or whatever you want to call him, but this guy. So they have things to say, and they're starting to push out what's the word I'm looking for? Censorship. Okay, and people are getting persecuted on it. They're not just cutting off what you say. People are losing their jobs. People are getting fired. People are getting canceled. We saw Jimmy Kimmel and Corbell, seeing their late night talk shows get shut down. All of a guy that was out there advocating for freedom of guns, the Second Amendment law. Okay, so all of that, I'm not going to get too deep into that. The videos on it, but hey, this is what you see the climate. This is all measuring the time, being able to see what's happening. I thought I saw some. Let me see if I can find them, where they go. See if I can find. Bear with me. I can't see them. But I'm gonna try. Oh, here we go. Yeah, let me see if we got anything good right now. Shalom. Y'all about you, Shabbat the water for joining. Let's see if we got some good ones. Pretty much Shalom. There's a couple precepts. Yep, the one I'm reading in Isaiah 91. Yep, the water bro. Yep. Oh, yep. So yeah, GMSLV 100% truth must be told. Said Ezekiel chapter 4, Ezekiel chapter 4 verse 13, and the Lord Yahweh said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, see, whither I will drive them. So yeah, we got to eat from the best of the worst, but we got to do our best to try to keep ourselves in a certain healthy manner. So if we know we got to eat our bread defiled, okay, well, maybe we should cut out the Hostess cupcakes. Maybe we should cut out the cola and the cherry and grape sodas and 0% fruit juice, purple drinks, and the big gallon for 99 cents or $1.29 because of inflation or whatever it may be. A cheap ass juice. In different other certain situations, okay? Trying to cut down on the fried foods and the seed oils, okay? You may not be able to cut it off. You know, your family don't always respond to the strict lifestyle that we live, but hey, they need to start getting on board too, because they got to go along for this ride as well. They got to endure and make it through as well. All right, so from there, let me jump to the 15th chapter of Esdras. Yep, here we go. I'm going to start at the top on this also. 2nd Esdras 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, because prophecy was going to give you that clock reading. Okay, it's going to give you what time we're living in. Okay, and one thing, you know, I'm not really big on outward laying on a horn. Somebody cut you, stupid mama. I'm not into that. I've never really been into that. I've seen that before now, years ago, where people have it's gone wrong. People pull them over, snatch them off their car, and be like, stand on what you said now. Okay, how much more when there's all this extra tension? That was some gangster shit that I've seen that happen, but now the people are just in that mode now anyway. Okay, where they're willing to just shoot out the car because you gave them a bad, you know, you don't like how you honk the horn at them. There's a movie, I always got movies, so there's a movie Unhinged with Russell Crowe. Okay, and so he was having a bad day, and you know, his wife was cheating or whatever was going on, so he became unhinged. So he's in traffic, and all of a sudden this woman lays on the horn. He tried to explain, like, calm down. He got still splatters of blood on him and stuff. You don't see those details, but we need to be picking up on all those little things, right? But you can see all that happening. And he goes, you know, you're supposed to tap the horn, you know, and just nice and light to let me know that I missed the light. But land on the horn, hurry up and get out the way. The lady's all tripping because she's late. She's frustrated with her life, and her boss is on her head, and she's losing clients, and all this stuff happening. So from that moment, he becomes completely unhinged, and he begins to terrorize her and her family and her son. So for the rest of that day, trying to kill him, first scaring him, and then to the point where he's killing people in her life. All because of how she laid on the horn versus saying toot toot or just going around or whatever. She ended up going around anyway. That's the crazy part about it. Okay? We got to start conducting ourselves in such a manner that these things, that we know what time it is. These people are unhinged. These people have all kinds of jabs and injections in their bodies now that are doing things, and frequencies going on with this internet and 5G, and they're building up 6G and these portal tunnels and CERN and demons coming out. These people have all these different energies that they're fighting with in their spirit, that they're trying to find safety and tranquility, but it's all chaos on the inside of their life. Okay, and we're navigating in a world where all this is happening, where the scriptures prophesy it would be great massive death going on. Where when I get to Matthew the 24th chapter, it said the love of many will wax cold. Okay, so this is going to be just an unhinged situation, and we have to remain calmly unhinged. So no, I'm not going to go to the bar on a Friday night. I'm not going to go in there and get plastered and be in there oogling girls because I'm lonely. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to learn to deal with it, or whatever other situation may, you know. Maybe I meet somebody at the library. If maybe the Lord provides somebody at the library. If I'm at the library really trying to read and study, you know, this is how we conduct ourselves. This is how we learn to know what time it is. Okay, I'm not going to go to the nightclub and be out there in the parking lot and just trying to do all this, be all this extra, looking for something, looking for a woman of tranquility or a peaceful life in a place of chaos. It's not where you're going to find it. Okay, and eventually the only place you're going to find it will be in these scriptures. Will be in the understanding. And it says in Isaiah the 28th chapter, "This is the rest, yet they would not hear. This is the rest. How's it go? This is the rest, and this is the refreshing, yet they would not hear." Okay, understanding these prophecies, be happy with that. So what if these women on this side ain't really for you? We know there's scriptures that should give you peace. That Isaiah 4:1's coming. But then we also have to know why we need a woman, or why we need women around us. Okay, for what purpose? Are they there just to take up our time so we fork out extra money? Rather than having these visions and dreams about the situation, okay, about denying women, Okay, no, I'm good. No, this is trouble. I ain't got the money to take care of you. Please help me. I'll take care of myself. Just protect me. Okay, these are things of prophecy that the scriptures are talking about. Okay, so these prophecies will come to pass. They're faithful and true, and we're watching all of them line up as the scripture said they would as we get closer and closer to this final day, the day of the Lord, right? It says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. People laughing and scoffing about what we believe. But now as it's getting closer, that scoff has become a murmur. Okay, as it was an outward, yeah, go get a job, and then people screaming on the, at us on the corners and all of this. But now we ain't hearing that same, because they're looking and they're starting to feel it, and they're starting to see, damn, they were right. There's people that have come on the internet have said, yeah, the Hebrew is it time to say that the Hebrew Israelites were right? You know, those guys with the big placards saying the end is near, and got Bible scriptures and saying this and that, and saying, America's this and that, and martial law and the implant and so on and so forth. And it's about time to give them their credit that they're actually telling the truth, that things are happening as they said that they would happen. Bear with me. All right. Yeah. In that Ezekiel, the 2nd chapter, they will know that there have been and even the 33rd chapter, they will know that a prophet had been among them. And it's coming to that time. But we can't forget, as teachers and believers, there's going to be a lot more believers that come in, in the near future. They're going to start flooding in, and we're going to have to figure them out and divide them and edify them, get them to a point that they can get all the way through all of this trouble that's coming. All right, it says, verse 4, for the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, the Lord Yahweh, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. What's the sword? The killing instrument. The modern day sword is the gun, but people will still have knives and daggers. They will bust you upside your head with bricks. They're going to use whatever they can to take advantage of you. Now, this is not only the government, but this is the everyday citizen that this will be happening to. They don't care about your positions, as it reads further down. They won't regard the kings nor princes. I'll jump down to it actually. But first, let me hit verse 6. It says, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So if you know wickedness is polluting the whole earth, you should be in aversion to that. Your lifestyle, your conduct should be adverse to that. Should be stick out like a sore thumb to that. Not to bring attention to yourself, but it should be easy to see. You said, nope, I'm not going over there. I tell brothers, we laugh about it. I avoid certain gas stations just because I can tell that whoever's selling, working the register in there, they got niggas and you see blunts and niggas coming out, rolling their blunt coming out the gas station. I'm not pulling up there, because here come the other niggas pulling up. Hey, what's up? And they selling right there in front of the camera at the door, and nothing happens. The gas station, they oogling chicks at the gas pump and this and that, and they running off trying to, they don't, man, I ain't got time for all that commotion. Okay, I'm going to avoid that one. I'm going to go right to the edge of the Edomite, to the edge. I didn't say in there, but to the edge of where the Edomites live, in a nice, peaceful gas station, man, where I can just pump my gas, and it's a little more expensive. Okay, but the piece is worth it, and it may have even some additives in there to help me stay away from fuel pump changes. Right? Anyway, it says, therefore saith the Lord Yahweh, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. And this is particularly us on the planet, but particularly you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. You're the real Israelites, and there's a certain standard that you should have. And we're the ones that are persecuted for sin, okay? Which is things that are outside of the law, transgressions of the law. And it said in, I believe it's Amos, it said, therefore, or was it Joel? It said, therefore will I punish you of all the families of the earth. Let me grab it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's a good one. Then I won't have to muffle it. If brothers could throw it on the comment board as well. Let's see. Bear with me. Joel 3. Where am I at? Must be Amos. Must be Amos. Amos. Yeah, Amos 3 and 2, it says, only you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore will I punish you for all your iniquities. Okay? So we're getting punished for all the iniquities that we do. Okay? We get punished for the sin. And that's why he's gonna touch us, and that's why it's called Jacob's trouble, because we're gonna have it the worst. Okay, and as the 2/3 of us have it the worst, the elect are going to find ways to navigate and endure through certain hardships and situations. But you have to be built up to be able to do it. Don't think, okay, because I can go out to the basketball court and I can dunk right now, I'm ready for this. That's not what it means. Because I've been wrestling and doing UFC, I can handle it. That's not the Lord has to be with you. It's not going to happen with physical might or worldly know-how. It's not going to get you through this. You got to have belief and prayer unto obedience unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? This is what it takes. This is what you need. All right? It goes on to say, verse 8 again in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, it says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. In the Edomites, that can be used for them as well. In the ruling systems that they're in under this Greco-Roman rebirth of an empire. Okay, that can be used as far as that as well, and they do have to get touched. But you Jakes, man, that are falling into that system, you got to get touched harder than anybody, man, because you should know better. We should be the beacon of light, amongst the darkness, and the elect, and are shining as that in these times, right? It says, neither will I suffer them in those things which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Okay? Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Yeah, so if you're just, you should be vexed like Lot from 2 Peter, the 2nd chapter. It should agitate you. So vexing means to agitate. You should be agitated with the works of the people in the earth. Okay, with the people around you. I hear some co-worker conversations. I'm just like, y'all got nothing better going on. What are you gonna do when the troubles come? I had a co-worker ask me yesterday, hey man, you don't really talk a lot, man. What's going on? Nah, it's cool, man. We're here doing the job, and I'm here to work. I'm here to work. You got some information about work, we can talk. If you want to shoot the shit, I'll shoot the breeze a few minutes with you, but I'm not just the guy that, hey, guess what? And my car and my girlfriend was saying, and my daughter was, I ain't got time for all that, man. Going all in my personal, man. That video says, hey, man, that was a meme a couple years back. It was a gangster looking nigga, whatever. And I don't know if it was the original one or not, but he was like, hey, man, can I follow you on Facebook? He goes, nah, man. You can't follow me on Facebook. I'm damn near a gang member outside of work. You don't want to know what type of life I actually lead outside of work. And it's not a dangerous street life as much as it is a boring life, a life of privacy. I'm too busy reading, watching videos, chilling out with my family, not on the internet. I'm not always posting, hey, look where we're at. Look what we're doing. Hey, look what I'm up to. And I don't care about all that for random people to see. Even when you do go to the little accounts I may have, what do you find? You find only my contacts can see these things. Okay? So it's a life of privacy, and it's a lot of solitude going on in this. And that's why, real quick, I didn't grab it, I didn't have it, but this is another conduct thing, because knowing the time is also telling you, which I'll get in Peter's, but knowing the time is also a thing of conduct, how you're conducting yourself, knowing what time it is. If you know that I got to be to work in 30 minutes and it takes me 15 to get to work, and you're not dressed for work and you're not ready, you're going to start speeding up. You're going to change from your natural just lollygagging around, chilling and hanging to moving with more urgency. Okay? You're going to change the way you conduct yourself. Okay? I don't have time to run a bath and be putting my feet up and slowly Calgon take me away. I got to hurry up and hop in the shower and freshen up real quick. Got to get the real areas and brush my teeth like this instead of just getting back and doing all this and flossing in the mirror. Now you move differently, okay? And I'm using analogies to what the prophecies are talking about. Okay, this is 2 Timothy Bear with me a second. 2 Timothy. Yep. 2 Timothy chapter 2. I always get this wrong. Nope, this is it. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 2. I'll start at verse 2. It says, "And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others." And that's what we focus on, right? But verse 3 is the point, 3 and 4. "That thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach." And there's things that we endure, little subtleties that we endure, that the average man may not seem like it's a big deal, or that we don't make a big deal about when we go through them, but we do it because we're enduring and we know that there's a harder time that'll be coming. And people at work don't care. I'm just using this as an analogy. People at the grocery store don't care the type of diet you have. They don't care that you're fasting right now. You know, you walk through, say, Costco, and they got free samples. Hey, man, come try the free samples. Somebody brought in cupcakes to the break room at work. They don't care that you fast or you don't eat that. They don't, oh, we got a pizza party. Nobody's thinking about saving you a piece of cheese pizza like that, because I'm not talking about that. And I'm talking about simple things, okay? I'm not concerned about what the people of the world have to deal with, because I'm concerned about being prepared for this war to come. And it starts as a spiritual war. It's not even the physical war that you should be concerned with, right? It says, "Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua Mashiach," attending to the spiritual things. It says, "No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life." We're not concerned with the things. I told a coworker that, and she asked, what did she ask me? And what did she say? She said, she asked me something. And I was like, I'm not concerned about what's happening now in this life. I'm worried about what's happening in the next life. And she looked up and was like, no, what you mean by that? And I was like, well, I ain't worried about being out there on the floor seats or having the best position at work and being a manager. And I'm not worried about that. I'm doing this to get through my day, to get myself built up so I can be able to live the righteous way in this life. And I didn't go this deep into her when I'm talking to her, but I was like, this much in this life that in the next life I can be honored and gloried in that life. That's what I'm moving for. She was like, okay, change the subject. Yeah, I thought so. Right? Anyway, it says, "No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier." Okay, so I'm more concerned about the things that Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshai approve of, about the report that the angels are going to go back and speak on my behalf. Okay, and hopefully, Lord willing, not speak against me. Yeah, they may have a report of, okay, he has shortcomings over here and over there, but we know that, Lord, but he also does this. Look how he acted in this situation. Look how he had integrity in this situation. Look where his focus was always on you. And he prays, he does this, he looks out for brothers, whatever it may be. We all have to get ourselves lined up with those things. Okay, going back to Esdras, the 15th chapter. Let me jump down, check the time also. 43 in, yeah, not too bad. I ain't got deep on the list, but I am jumping around. So bear with the water for bearing with me. I had a lot come on my spirit anyway, and just looking at everything, and you be around public and you start seeing that these people are not prepared for the things that are coming. There was a Jake, and I wanted to do a video, and this is kind of that video, but it was a clip of him saying, have you looked at the American public? They're not ready to run a mile. They're not ready to carry, their mama or their children or whomever, to the corner, let alone any further than that, to safety. You think you look at the military. Hey, I just saw an article a brother sent the other day about the military is concerned about hair length. Those are the things. The people are men and women got dreads and got hair length and longer hair that they're concerned about rather than war. You don't see all the technology and stuff building up in other countries, doing drills, flossing, riding submarines by the West Coast and flying over airspace here and there. Okay, you don't see these articles talking about that. This is the time we're living in. Okay, So our mind shouldn't be on, oh, you going to the Chris Brown concert tonight? Whatever, man. Nobody cares. Did you see the fight last week? Did you see the game Did you see the game on Monday? Nobody cares, man. As people are caught up in caring about those things, we care about the spiritual implications of things. We care about measuring the time. In that same Canelo Crawford fight, we saw the classic Judah vexing Ephraim and Edom envying Judah, the northern and southern kingdom going back and forth. But you know what? It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't that bad. They just kind of laughed it off and shrugged at each other, and they were high-fiving and having drinks together. Now, they were over-drinking, getting crazy, but you can see people, that spirit of the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom starting to come together and kind of lightly push on the people. Well, you can see it deeply inside this truth. Okay, when we start to realize that, hey, this man's coming for us, because this message is being pushed out there. Let's not act like it's not. The message of the prophets, saying in Ezekiel the 37th chapter, saying that the two kingdoms will come together on one stick. Okay, and they'll rise up a great exceeding army, but there will be no breath in them. But then some would have the breath. Okay, this is what we're really seeing happening. Okay, so this is something to measure the time also. Hey man, calm down with your brother. It's your brother. Why you walk around, F the Mexicans, I'm tired of that black ass nigga, Mayate or whatever the hell else gets said. Hey, that's your brother, man. Okay, and that's a message that has to, so when you're in public, it's okay to let that happen. I hold the door for anybody, really. Okay? Let alone my brother, and what's up, bro? I'm gonna hit him with it. Hermanos, hey, what's going on? Whatever. Give them the nod of acceptance with me. If we go down in here, I want you to know that, hey, I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. Don't let nothing happen to me. And that little subtlety can change how the energy of a place happens, man. Okay, if you gotta be in public like that. Anyway, back in it says, verse 14, I'm gonna jump down to verse 14 in 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, and I'm gonna speed it up a little bit, but I'm pretty good on time, so far I believe. Anyway, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe means destruction. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Now, you got to see that that's building up. How is it that one guy gets assassinated by his own race of people, but then you got people chanting, white men fight back? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why did it become racial? Why did it become a color thing? White men fight back against who? Who's fighting you? Who's assaulting you? It looked like the last shooters have been you against you. Okay? Why is it you got to fight back all of a sudden? Okay, well, because they have an agenda that has to be pushed, and there's a spirit within these Edomites that know that we're not afraid of them no more. Knows that we're not taking this shit the same way we used to 60, 70, 90 years ago. Okay? That ain't the same energy in the world no more. Okay, we ain't afraid of the police like that. We ain't afraid of you and your guns. We ain't afraid of dating your daughters. Okay, we're just not afraid no more. Okay, or speaking out against you. A prime example is who? Charleston White. This nigga just says whatever the hell he wants to say nowadays. To niggas, to gangsters, to KKK, white men, whatever, he don't care. And I'm not out here praising him, but you gotta look at the boldness that our people are starting to speak with against people. Okay? And some of our people got a little bit to lose, but guess what? You're gonna lose it anyway. You might as well stand on integrity and righteousness. But everything in its proper time and in its measure. When it's said, thus saith the Lord, is how we speak. We don't just go out saying crazy shit. We speak, thus saith the Lord, and when it's our opinion, we try to voice that it's our opinion. All right? Now I'm in, where am I at now? Yeah, I'm still reading 15. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the power of their actions shall stand in their power. And a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. That's talking about martial law. Brothers been having visions and dreams about martial law happening. We've been watching MRAPs and drones being used and robot dogs and whatever else being used in these cities. Okay, and all types of other stuff. They have something that's like a siren that if they shoot it in your direction, those frequency waves make you automatically turn and run and cower to the ground or run away. Just within range of this, they have stuff like they have microwave that you can't hear or feel any, hear or see anything, but you can feel the heat burning you if you stay there and face it. They have these toys that they're gonna. I didn't see who said it. Let me check. Up for me. Yep, the water. Yep, sonar weaponry. Tassad Salakia, bro. I believe it's a brother. I can't pronounce how you would say it, but you know, the water for being on here. Anyway, it says now we're gonna keep jumping. We're gonna keep moving. Let's go real quick over to the 16th chapter of Second Esdras, and this is why you're gonna, especially here at Great Millstone, you're gonna find that there's a lot of chapters in the same scriptures that come out. Why? Because these are the prophecies. These are the answers of the times that we're living in. It don't take a rocket scientist to see that these are the ones. These are the answers. Just because we're repetitive and we're bringing out the same scriptures, bringing out the same prophecies, always. Yeah, this is, we have to get it embedded in our people's minds. All right. It says here. I'm gonna start up at verse straight to the point. 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? Matter of fact, let me jump up. Verse 13, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, they shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. These aren't just regular Native American archery bows and arrows. These are missiles shot from one end of the earth to the other, intercontinental ballistic missiles. So if you know that that's coming to a place like here, like America, to destroy it, when you break down the prophecy of Babylon the Great and the virgin daughter of Babylon, okay, and that whole lake of fire and Revelations and all of that, when you have the understanding of that, you're going to move a certain way, because I don't have a boat to try to sail away. Plus, maritime law ain't going to let me go. Okay, I don't have a jet or land back in Africa to go to. Well, Africa looks worse right now. I might as well ride this out and believe that the Lord is going to rescue his elect, and then fight within myself that I may be of that elect. Okay? Let the inner man fight against the flesh. My spirit fight against the flesh to make it. All right. Anyway, it says that was that point. So you're going to move a certain way. Back in 17, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days? Well, the Lord said he would deliver you. Okay. Daniel, real quick, the book of Daniel. Went past it. Bear with me a second. Daniel chapter 12. Where is it at? Like right here. Yeah, here we go. Daniel 12 and 1. Which says, and at that time, what time? At the time of the end, the time we've measured diligently, the time that we should awake out of sleep, for nearer is our salvation than when we believed. Okay? From Romans 13th chapter, right? It says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, that great prince, the archangel Michael, is going to stand up for the people, which standeth for the children of thy people. Okay, that's going to protect the elect. It says, and there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So as the worst of the world is happening, and we're living in that time that the worst in life has ever happened is happening in this time with us. That's why the prophets are out now. That's why they're prophesying now. It's not prophesying for 2 more generations behind us. No, it's for the people that's on the earth now. The internet is ready. They're trying to police the internet where you can only say certain things. These videos won't be up forever. The scriptures always also talk about the famine of the word. So the conduct of instead of watching Family Matters reruns or Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reruns, hey, tune into what the prophets are talking about. Catch that live stream. Catch the apostles' videos. Okay, a lot of gems that get dropped in these videos that the topic don't say alone, don't speak to alone. Okay, it says even to that same time, and at that time thy people shall be delivered. So at the worst time ever is the same time that the people shall be delivered. Okay? Every one that shall be found written in the book. What book? The book of life. Okay? Back in Esdras, the 16th chapter, and I'm only going to read the top part. You can always jump down and go through this and hit other things and videos on those. Right? But it says, verse 18 in 2nd Esdras, the 16th chapter, it says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. Yahushua spoke of these things that Ezra is speaking of right here in previous time. And the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, scourges for correction. These little situations are to correct you, to get you back on the right track. Okay? And there's a way that you conduct yourself, and there's a way that people should look at you when how you move in the earth. You should be, it says, a man may be known by his look and excessive laughter and gait when thou meetest him. When that should be said in positivity about you as well. I don't have excessive laughter. I do in certain situations, but when I'm just out, when I'm not in a specific moment with certain brothers and in certain situations at the house, I'm not the big laughter guy, man. I'm not. As much as I enjoy comedy and entertainment and all that as well, in the back of my mind is always, okay, this could pop off at any moment. I'm always looking for the spiritual side of things. I'm keenly looking too much to be locked in to just let my guard down completely all the time. We do. Okay, we have a good time. We may go have a drink and all of these other things, but everything is with circumspection. Everything in moderation. Okay? It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, our people, nor be always mindful of the scourges. But we should be mindful of the scourges and how we move. We see the scourges of ICE coming down. Okay, what you need to do. We see the scourges of the troops coming to different cities. Okay, how should we move? How should I be acting? Where should I be? Should I be out in public like that? Should I just be out gallivanting in the streets and just doing this and that? No. I ain't got the money for it. Times are tight. Okay? Even if I did have the money, it's probably meant to go somewhere else, to something, a more spiritual benefit, right? It said, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Going back to the 15th chapter, because I almost slipped past it. Verse 18 in 2nd Esdras 15th chapter, it says, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled. I'll read 17 again. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their goods, destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay, so these things are coming to the people of the earth. Now let me go to Matthew 24. Okay, heavy prophetic chapter. Matthew 24, where, let me start up. Yeah, it says, verse 5. Matter of fact, verse 4, Yahushua answered and said unto them, matter of fact, I'll read verse 3 so you get the context a little bit. And he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world, the end of this age? So when is the end of this happening? Okay, and it was over 2,000 years ago they were inquiring about this. Well, it got written down so we can measure the time diligently in itself. The technology to rule a world with technology, to have a technocracy ruled by Edomites wasn't in that time. We didn't know, the prophets of that time didn't know that there was a Byzantine Empire to come, okay, and that there would be a rebirth to come. They didn't understand that had to come. Now looking back on it, hindsight 2020, we can see that all those things had to happen And it's written in the scriptures in the book of Revelation that time had to happen, that the Satan shall be loosed, okay, for a little season. We see that he came out, and we're in that little season now, and this is the coming end of that little season. All right, it says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Okay, be in the know, be on the watch, so you have the information at your mind ready. And many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. You're going to find a lot of people with the false message pushing that, claiming that themselves is the guy. We know that AI is building up to do something on a religious level as well. We see them trying to do stage an alien invasion, and they can put out there whatever they like. People looking at this Captain Kirk assassination thing and seeing that, hey, why is the black dot over here and it's moving? Why is the ring jumping from finger to finger? It could be AI, it could be whatever else. Who cares? That's not what we need to be focused on. We see it and we know what that means. Okay, racial tension. That's the end of that. How do I move now knowing that racial tension is heightened in the earth? That's that. It's not saying, oh, the Lord will be back tomorrow and he's going to put in all your time and energy into that. No, you still got to understand these full prophecies. You still got to do your obligations to the ministry. Okay, you still got to stay on your watch, because there's other things. Okay, I'm watching this over here in that racial tension, but what about World War III over here in Ezekiel 38 chapter? What about that? What about Israelites in a mass awakening coming? Okay, what about that? Okay, there's other things that are happening, right? It says, and many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. A lot of false prophets out there. Guys that were down 10 toes with the Hebrew Israelite thing, so we believed, but then they fell away. Okay, they're out there falling away. They're just waxing worse and worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Okay, we see that happening. People turning to trying to be podcasters and internet superstars, forgetting that the service of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is still needed. The laborers are few. Yeah, okay. So the work is plenteous, but the laborers are few, is what I'm referencing. Okay, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places, and all these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay, we're seeing all this happening, and we're at the point now where this is coming. Verse 9 says, and then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. Why? Because of the truth, because of the information we hold in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right, and shall kill you, right, and alive you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. They're gonna hate us because our message, it isn't pro-China, it isn't pro-Russia, it isn't pro-America, it isn't pro-whatever else. So they're all gonna hate us, not just our own people, but everybody, because we're talking about I'm gonna say it this way, pro-Negro, Latino, Native American, but you simpletons can't make it. Not this go around. We're pro-Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Issachar, Gad, Reuben, Asher, Ephraim, okay, Manasseh, Simeon, Naphtali, okay, so on and so forth. All right, we're pro the people that are changing their conduct and changing their belief system to where it affects their works and their lives to be accepted of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, that they may be of the elect. Okay, it goes on to say, then shall many be offended because of this message, right? And they shall betray one another and shall hate one another, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many, and because of iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Okay, so it's just getting colder and colder, like I said, whether it's road rage and traffic, whether it's cutting somebody in line at the grocery store, whether it's stealing a parking space or trying to block a parking space while you come around and get it because you want to be the first parking space next to the handicap or whatever. Okay, fuck around and somebody, shoot you, you don't die. Now you need the handicap parking. and you can't run into the store no more. Pun intended. All right? All these situations, because you got to watch your conduct, can easily happen nowadays, man. All right? And why? Because, and see, this is something that I've seen a couple of videos tapping on, just people saying in different things, whether it be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or whatever. The brothers talking about it or whatever, where just like they use MK Ultra to push certain things, you know. Matter of fact, I just saw a video with Charleston White kind of talking about this. He's popping up a lot more on the internet lately, right? What he said was, how do say, you can control somebody that only thinks one way. So if you don't have a broad view of everything with a single belief in it, okay, which this is the one belief. Anything outside of that is a broad view. Okay, anybody that's single-minded like that, in a sense of they can only see that blacks are evil, they can only see that whites are all evil. They can't see that spirit in that light-skinned, red-headed white man might be a Jake, because he believes in this word. He's probably a Jake and willing to do whatever it takes to follow this thing, or the Asian that's like that, or the East Indian guy. You gotta look beyond that. If you're not able to see beyond and look deeper into people, into the spirit, hey, you're easily controlled. Okay, and that's gonna be the downfall of E. I was going back in Genesis and reading, and when you look at it, when the time when Isaac was giving out the blessing, Jacob came and supplanted, Isaac to get the blessing with the help of Rebekah, because the prophecy said it would be that way. Esau came back. He was like, yeah, come, I'm going to make daddy's favorite meal so he can bless me. He was concerned about being blessed, not to what he would do with the blessing or what it would mean, but he just wanted to get blessed. His focus was on himself. And so he was so single-eyed on being blessed and getting the blessing. That's why he cried and wept about the blessing, about getting something. That same energy, that same Cain spirit, okay, that it made him want to, that they made Cain kill Abel, that made Esau said, at the time of mourning my father is at hand, then when I slay my brother Jacob, that same spirit of that same man is what's going to get him killed in these times. And if you follow him, you're going to follow him right into the ditch right along with him. Okay? Now, in Revelation chapter 12, verse 12 says, right over here, it says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. If you're anywhere on earth, it's going to be woe unto you, because there's a lot of destruction coming to the earth. Okay, to live in this time and to be alive, to be elderly or a baby in this time is not really, or not to be able-bodied. Let me say that again. This video has been touching on conduct. To not be able-bodied, or not to work toward being able-bodied in this time, that you may run for your life, that you may pull your children out of a burning building or out of a car accident or something, or pull or run over down the street, to help your neighbor that may end up being a believer of this thing, whatever the case may be, that you're able-bodied to actually do the things necessary to make it to the end of these evil times we're coming into. Okay, and I'm just using that health angle because it starts with mental health, of understanding these scriptures that'll heal you that way with the scriptures, but it's also meant to benefit you and heal you physically. Okay, yeah, it takes prayer, it takes fasting, it takes some physical things, a lot of spiritual things. Okay, but it takes it all. All right. I know time it is. I know my team is going to the playoffs, so I'm not going to practice to only play these many games. I'm gonna practice beyond that. I'm a train for a 15-round fight, not just for a 12-round fight. So in case we go the distance, I still got something extra in the tank to still be effective. Okay, just using those analogies to keep your mind going, right? Anyway, it says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he have but a short time. As we get closer and closer, this man is moving recklessly, but he's moving sloppily, but he's moving aggressively. Okay, because he knows he has to get these things done. Very aggressive. Yep. Very good, brother. Appreciate that. Yep. How great is that darkness? It's funny. I got a little bit on that darkness. It's going to hit in a little bit. Matter of fact, it's coming up. Okay. The time is short. So this man is constantly trying to do things and pull things. And it's so much happening back to back that you can't keep up with it. Okay. You gotta cut out. Like I noticed my family, we watch a lot of movies and all of that. Well, I don't have as much time. I don't have as much hangout time, time out in the living room. Okay, with a work schedule, and with make sure this ministry schedule that I'm trying to really put together, my health regimen I'm trying to get together. Okay, and still have some family time, and still have all these other situations that are happening that I'm involved in. Some things got to get cut out. Okay, and as they're cut out, you got to prioritize. What's the most important things? Well, my eye is single on this ministry. Okay, but I got to be able to be a benefit to the ministry. So guess what? That means I got to be able to provide. Okay, I need to provide a place to live, to have internet, to do so on and so forth. So you gotta really prioritize and keep yourself locked in. Okay. It goes. So I'm gonna jump now from there. I'll wait on that one. Let me go to that in Isaiah the 60th chapter. Because I wrote that one down. Yeah, that darkness, man. That darkness is not a game. Yeah. That darkness is not a game. It's really covering the people in mass amount. So we got to move a certain way that we don't get caught up in that darkness. In fact, let me grab that one while I'm right here too. I'll pass it. I'll hold it. Yep, I'll hold that. But we're in Isaiah 60. Bear with me. It's right here. Isaiah chapter 60. 65. Hold on. Isaiah 60 verse 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west. Excuse me, it's 59. And it's highlighted, so I'm going to roll with it anyway. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the east, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, and the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up the standard against them. This is what we're hoping for, but we have to be conducted that way. Our conduct has to be that way. Our conversation has to be that way. Okay? And I've done videos on this before. Hey, you got to make yourself, and Paul wrote about it, I believe it's in Romans or Corinthians, but I think it's Romans, where you're putting righteous things, you're having righteous things within you that the Lord wants to rest upon you, wants to rest his Spirit upon you. It says, for into a malicious soul, the Spirit cannot rest. Okay? From Wisdom of Solomon, the first chapter. I roughly paraphrase it, but yeah. So you want to be a vessel meet for the master's use. Okay, you want to build yourself up to be instant in season and out of season, to be locked in when the Lord throws a spirit at you, that you can move on it, that you can prove. Okay, the Lord wants me to do a video on this. Okay, the Lord wants me to move this way. The Lord wants that when you hear it, you don't just, oh, what's that? I'm doing something busy. You want to, when He calls on you to do something, you want to be able to move in the Spirit. Okay, and get that done effectively. All right, so that comes with all the way you think, the prayer, the what you put in your body, what you eat. Okay, rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of your ability. Okay, being able to speak boldly. And the Spirit gave me that to say that one, because this enemy is gonna come in like a flood. But the one I wanted was in the 60th chapter, and the double check over here. Yeah, at the top. I'm tripping. Anyway, Isaiah 60 verse 1, rise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. Okay, how? Through the prophecies, through the spirit of the book, by making yourself that vessel meet for the master's use, that you can push out light and emit light. Okay, from your actions, from your being, from your speech. Okay, from the way you move, from the way you think. All right, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth. And this is what we're starting to see, how just more and more darkness is covering the earth. How do you know? Now, my algorithm on my social media pages, is a certain way. I do have some folly. I do have some bullshit on there where the darkness pops up because we do videos on a lot of that. But also the algorithm's coming around to where it's starting to only certain things are popping up. Okay, I don't get all the BS that you can get. Like Brothers is on it though. Brothers are shooting around and sending around these videos out to let you see. Look what this nigga's over here doing. Look what these Jakes over here doing. Look what E is doing. Look how he's moving. Look at this legislation. Look at this. Look at that. Look what the N-Dub is doing. Okay? Look at this vibration in the earth, how things are happening. All right? This is all gross darkness covering the people. What do we see in the vibration pushed out in our music and music videos and whatnot? All types of sexual deviancy. Okay, all types of crazy, corrupt, demonic images and vibration. Okay? And this, when you see in mass, this is what our people are locked in with. Okay? Our women are not proud of themselves, man. That's why they walk around with BBLs, implants, and fake duck lips and big super lips and cumbrella eyelashes that's out in front of their face. All kind of crazy stuff, man. What's wrong with you? All types of hair hats and weaves. And I'm just saying this, you know, because our women are a reflection of us as a nation. What's wrong with us? You got Jake with these antenna dreads with the little blonde on the tip, and it's just, but you see what's inside. When you see a woman walk around with lime green hair, it's like seeing a nigga with dreads with the blonde or whatever. You can almost tell what's going on inside their mind, that they're not stably minded, that they're impulsive, that they're not ready for what's coming. Okay? It says, in gross darkness covereth the earth, in gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh shall arise upon thee. His glory shall be seen upon thee. All right? But there's going to be a remnant of people that have the real spirit of the Lord on them. That breath of life will be in them, and they will move and conduct themselves in a certain way. Okay? That vexation with that confusion of face. Okay? Exactly right. So it says from there, let's go to Psalms right quick. Because as you see these things and these things are happening, we can't get caught up the same way that everybody else gets caught up. All right? We can't, when we see E passing legislation to silence the people on TikTok. If you say anything about Charlie Kirk, you're going to be this and you're going to be persecuted. They're watching everything you see on the internet about Israel over there in the Middle East. The JOOs, okay? What if you say anything about them, we're gonna ban you and lock you up and do all these things. Okay? You're gonna spend significant time in jail. We're getting this many a day, and they're categorizing and watching everything. That when you go to Revelation, the 12th chapter, it talks about the accuser of thy brethren. The word is categoreo. They put you in a category so they can know how to deal with you. They literally have a red, yellow, blue, black list that everybody's put on. And I may have the colors wrong now, but there's pretty much yellow list or whatever list that they have people on. Okay? Putting you in different categories. How difficult is they to believe this? Or they believe that? If we throw this energy and this frequency out there, did they go get the JAB? Or they didn't? Or are they Christian? How much do they value their job? All of these categories that they'll have you in mentally, that they'll be able to come and get you and use these angles to control you. All right? So when you see all, and they have the legislation to back it up. Okay? So Psalm 94 says, and what verse did I have? Yeah, the 20th verse, that's right. Psalm 94 and 20 says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? And they're putting a lot of mischief out and calling it law. You can't tell somebody that's delusional, that's confused about who they are and what they are, what they were born to be. You can't tell them about themselves. You can't tell a nigga nowadays, hey nigga, pull your pants up. That's a sign of showing your drawers and your ass cheeks like that is a sign of that you're open for business in a homosexual way. You can't tell nobody that no more. You can't tell the 6'4", 215 pound swole ass nigga, hey, why do you have that on with that dress? Why are you faking like that? I can't even be mad at you because you deceived me or whatever. Just saying. You can't tell nobody nothing no more. And these are laws on the books that just aren't fair. You can't point out the truth. It says, I'm trying to think of that saying. When I forget how it starts, but when the truth has become a revolutionary act. Okay, when speaking the truth becomes a revolutionary act, and that's what this is. I forget how the beginning of that starts, but yeah, speaking the truth now to out in the masses in public and to your fellow person, the truth has become a revolutionary act, and I think that's from Orwell or something like that. George Orwell, who did the movie or the book first, 1984. All right, I just got one or two more precepts, and I'm gonna close. I read that already. I'll read that whole thing in Romans before I go, but let's get 2 Peter. I just took my finger out of it. 2 Peter. Yeah, now I'm gonna close. I gotta make a move anyway. 2 Peter chapter 3, straight to the point. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, that he will reward them with evil, that do evil, and he will reward them with salvation, those that are good. Right? As some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. Hoping that we all understand and that we should come to repentance, man. We got something to repent for, we should come to repentance. An earnest detesting of the wicked way that we once were, that we're turning back from. Okay, it says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. It will catch a lot of people by surprise. Right? In the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise from the missiles of World War III. Okay, ICBM missiles, nuclear, right? And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. All the works, and I forget what that word is for works right there. But it's talking about all the things, all the manner of ways that people are. All the things that people believe. So all the idols, all the believing, oh, I can't miss Sunday night football or whatever. All of that type of shit. Oh, I gotta go to the grocery store and get this. I need this and I need that. All this stuff that don't matter. All that's gonna get burnt up. Okay, candy bars, Twinkies and shit. Okay, all these things are gonna get burnt up. Your church house burnt up. Anybody that don't believe, burnt up. Okay, these things that you believe in are all gonna go away, whether it be physical or spiritual or mental. Okay, and only the things in this land will remain. Excuse me. Are those that believe and that are in line with Yahweh Bashmi Al-Shai. Anyway, it says, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? And that word conversation, as I said before, is anastrophe in the Greek, which means conduct. This video has been, how do you conduct yourself? You shouldn't need a clock to know what time it is, how you should be moving, how you should be acting, how you should be thinking, what you believe in. Christianity's done nothing for you with that, with the pale face and the stringy hair and walking around kumbaya. And we know kumbaya is the Hebrew. Okay. We know that's a real Hebrew prayer in the Hebrew, but he's doing peace unto you. This land is your land. This land is my land type spirit on him. You know, like everything's going to be okay. Well, that's not the message that the Lord has. The real Yahweh Shai's message ain't about that. He's come he's coming to bring division, to break up families because of belief. Okay, so on and so forth. All right, friendships and whatnot. It says, with all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Lord, where in the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Yep, that's what I'm reading now. Yep, seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved. What manner? I read that. Verse 13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. New rulerships wherein dwelleth righteousness. A new earth that lives under the law, statutes, commandments of righteousness. of the Heavenly Father that's written in this book, where there's a land Sabbath, where the earth can flourish the way it's supposed to, where the air ain't polluted, where the water's not polluted, okay, where the riches aren't hoarded up and stored away, where their energies and what they're for, certain precious stones are put out there to push a certain vibration and energy and cleanliness to the earth. That the people of the earth move in a certain rhythm on certain Sabbaths, high holy days, and whatever else. Hey, shut it down. No movement. Let the earth chill. You sit back and reverence me on this day. Talking about the Heavenly Father. All right? And this is the difference of changing how all this should happen. Now, Thessalonians, 1 Thessalonians, right here. In 1 Thessalonians, right here, always. Chapter 5, verse 1. But of the times and of the seasons, brethren, I have no need that I write unto you, because you know what time it is. You don't need a clock to know what time it is, okay? And no need that I write unto you, because you're watching the prophecies. You're measuring the time diligently in itself. That you see that it's high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. It's like coming around that last curve in the 400, and now you can see the finish line. Now it's an all-out dead sprint. Okay? All-out dead sprint to the finish. All right? Paul wrote about racing. Anyway, it says, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night, right? For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Okay, there's going to be a peace and safety moment. Everybody's going to try to take that exhale. Well, when that moment happens, that's when we're going to brace for the next something. But we're spiritually bracing for it. But we've been building up the strength to be able to brace for the coming times that are happening. This is what the prophecy is setting us up for. We can see what's coming. And we know it's going to be dangerous and deadly, but we believe that we'll be able to withstand that and then push through the Spirit, right? It says, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Just as, okay, you see the baby, the stomach getting bigger. Okay, now there's certain birth pains and so on and so forth. As the stomach gets bigger, you can see it. This is what we should be looking at with these prophecies. The time's getting closer and closer, stomach getting bigger and bigger. More pains, more situations, more frustrations. We have to tighten up and live a certain way. Okay, my bag is packed. So when we go to the hospital, I got the baby crib now. I done got some bottles. I got the breast pump machine. I done started buying diapers. You start seeing all of this situation when the baby's on the earth, trying to free up your schedule to be able to do these certain things. And then boom, without warning, the water breaks. And guess what? That water break event is around the corner. Okay? The pressure is built up. That water break is coming, man. Okay? And when it comes, boom, you have to be ready. Okay? We're not going to be out there on the corner teaching because there'll be martial law outside. It'll be too dangerous. Okay? We may have the spirit of boldness to go out there. Okay? So I guess it disconnected, or when you didn't really miss much. But yeah. So that may be what it is. Well, I don't know. But the Spirit going to guide us to do it the way it should be done in that time. But all on a sudden is when we have to be ready. Okay? We have to already have been built up to be ready for all these situations. What did you say, brother? Yep, that's right. It says, then sudden destruction upon a woman, and they shall, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, not that gross darkness, because we have the light. We walk in the light of Yahushua. We see how he conducted himself. We see how he answered questions with seasoned with salt. That he used parables to answer questions. He answered the question in the spirit, but in the flesh, they're like, this dude bugged out, man. Let's leave this guy alone. Okay? You think we're not going to get questioned in certain ways? But hey, eventually when we are brought up before those big councils into the synagogues and all of that, the Spirit is going to give us what to say. Okay? It says, but you, brethren, you are not in darkness, in that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, because now it's high time to wake out of sleep, right? As do others, But let us watch and be sober, right? But let us who are of the day, verse 7, I skipped it. It says, for they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. Okay, these things that the analogy of sleeping and drinking, with being drunk with philosophy, being not spiritually awake, having that breath of life in you, those situations happen on the darkness of the gross darkness that happens, the gross sinful conduct of the people. Okay, that's what the analogy is going into. Okay, we can't be that way. We have to move with understanding what time it is. Okay, for they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation. Okay, so we have to be armed, knowing what time it is. I gotta have you. Hey, when the Passover comes, we're coming around in the new year, when it comes all the way around. Okay, the Passover will be back around, and what do they have us do that was different than what we would normally do? We have to eat with our staff in our hand and our shoes on our feet, because we will be ready to make a move right after we eat. We didn't have time to put leaven in the bread. We had to eat it unleavened, because we didn't have time for it to rise up and do all those other things. We didn't have time to marinate and season the lamb. We had to just roast it real quick, make the bread real quick, have some of that, and to remember where we're leaving and get the hell up out of there. Okay? So it's no different now when we exit this out of this situation. All right? We got to be armed with these spiritual things. All right? So let me end on Romans the 13th chapter. Back in that full verse now. Romans 13, starting back at verse 11, says, and that knowing the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep. Gotta know what time it is, man. You don't need a clock to know what time it is. We should see the prophecies and we should understand. We know what time it is. This is how we should be moving. This is how we should be conducting ourselves. This is how we should be treating one another. This is how we should keep a healthy distance between us and regular people, and know how to season our speech and our thoughts to protect ourselves spiritually. Okay? And there's something else I was thinking, and I considered doing a video on it, where people are putting all this crazy stuff on the internet, and they got their whole Facebook out there, and they got where they work and their favorite place to eat and who their relatives and family and all of this stuff. They go right on the internet and get you and dox you, right? Well, what did Batman tell Robin? Why do you wear the mask? And actually, Alfred told Batman Bruce Wayne why to wear the mask. So you protect those around you, the family, the one you care about most. So you can protect those people around you that have nothing to do with what you believe in and what your mission truly is. Okay? We put our face on here boldly, but at the same time, there's a certain element of privacy that you have to keep about yourself. Okay? Yeah, we about to close up right now. So it says, the night is, it says, I'll read it again. And that knowing the time, that now is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. The night is far spent, the night's almost over, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. You can go to Ephesians the 6th chapter and read more about that armor. It says, let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and in drunkenness, and not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying. So we got to be more obedient to where the Spirit is moving. Okay? As elder men, we got to be more attentive to the younger men in the Spirit that don't know certain situations, that don't have the experience in certain situations, getting them adept to those certain situations. And as younger men, we have to be obedient unto the elders, and ask good questions, but so we can learn on the fly, that we're more obedient and humble to learning from them. Okay? It says, let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting and in drunkenness, and not in chambering and wantonness. It sounds like fun, man, but that fun time's over. We'll have an eternity in the kingdom of fun. Okay? But now looking forward in this terrible place, man, I'm telling you, I ain't been out, but you go out now and you see people that have been out. Where y'all coming from? Are we coming from towel. We come from a certain club or whatever. It was a good night. It was all right. You can see that nobody's really happy leaving these fun events. You can see that nobody's having a great time in the earth. They go on social media and they fake it. When they're in their pictures, it's all faked, and then they hum drum, when it comes to their real reality. Damn, I got to go to work tomorrow. Damn, I got to go back to these kids. I got to go back and do this, and I got I'm lonely, and then all these situations happening. All right. It says, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof. Got to cut this, detach from this flesh. I believe it's in Colossians where it said to mortify thy members. Okay, you got to cut off these attachments to the world and the flesh, and then push out the spirit of having your spirit right. All right, so I'm going to end it there. Lord willing, it was edifying. I know it was long, the water for coming in and watching. So Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Al-Chakwadash. They belong to our apostles, the bishops, the elders of the great millstone, and greetings, salutations, blessings, much love unto you elect. To the next one, Shalom.